So I was ready to give up on winter sowing. I live in a cold climate here in Zone 3, Saskatchewan, Canada, and I have been doing the winter sowing method for several years with varying results. Some things turn out well, but I've had a lot of unsuccessful germination and I was ready to give up. But I started doing some more research into this process because it seems to be working well for a lot of people in cold climates. And I think I have come up with the solution. One little change that I'm going to make. It's not going to be what I plant. It's not going to be the containers that I'm using. It's not going to be the soil. It's going to be the timing. So if you are in a cold climate, zone 3, 4, 5, like me, and thinking winter sowing doesn't work for you, haven't tried it, thinking it's too late to start, well, it's March and I'm going all in with some winter sowing. So stick around. Let's plant up some seeds in some jugs. So if this is your first time joining me on my channel, my name is Tracy and I like to grow food all year round, even though I live in a cold climate, zone 3, Saskatchewan, Canada. So I like to show people on my channel how you can grow food no matter what the temperature is outside. Of course, we're heading into the outdoor growing season, but we have a very short season in our cold climate. So I like to teach people how to grow different things indoors when it's too cold to be outside. So if you want to check out my free 12-year garden planner, I have it in a link in the description box below where you can download it for free along with a couple other gardening guides. So like I said, I've been doing the winter sowing for several years and I've been doing it in usually the months of January, February, because that's when a lot of people are doing it in warmer climates because they have that warmer winter seasons, they have earlier spring. And, I was kind of following that. But I have been watching a lot of videos and kind of looking at, we have those super cold nighttime long-term temperatures, minus 30 degrees Celsius or colder for longer stretches of time. And I'm just wondering if that maybe was affecting some of the seeds that I had put out in the winter sowing jugs earlier, in the winter time. I just want to do a shout out to Frankie Lou. She's got a great winter sowing channel, a winter sowing group on Facebook. I'll put the link in the description box. But she talks about this as well, that, timing sometimes has an effect. You can put it out in the cold months of January and February and hope for the best. But if you want better success, then why not wait a little while till we get into those warmer nighttime temperatures? We still have that 4 to 6 weeks of freezing temperatures that these seeds like the perennials and the cold tolerant. They want that stratification to help those seeds germinate. We're still going to get that here in these cold growing zones. Likely that these seeds are going to be happier. We have longer days of sunlight. And when the time is right, these seeds will start to warm up, the soil will start to warm up, and we should get better germination. So I'm going all in now, and I want you to just watch me set a couple of these up here while I talk about it. And if you're thinking about starting the winter sowing method, then there's lots of time if you're still in a cold growing zone. I plan on winter sowing all the way until the end of March and starting off with perennials. Like I said, they need to go through that period of cold stratification. So we are early March. We're going to have lots of time for these to freeze and thaw and go through that process. And then as I work my way through mid-March to end of March, I'll move into things that are a little less cold tolerant, different herbs, vegetables, things like brassicas if you like to grow them. I'm still on the fence whether I'm going to or not, but you can do your cabbages, broccolis, cauliflowers, kohlrabi in this method as well. Then I'm going to get into the flowers. So things that I like to grow for my garden, like the marigolds and zinnias, cosmos, those kind of flowers, you don't need to start them till end of March, early April. If you don't have the space, winter sowing is a great way to combat. I do have a beautiful sunny window here that I can fill up with plants and seedlings, end of April up until it's time to transplant them. but I'm trying to limit how much stuff I have going because I have to water it and fertilize it and baby it, protect it from two cats that are very curious, as you can see. So I am, like I said, I'm going to go all in with lots more winter sowing and hopefully have great success by waiting a little bit longer. So if you're thinking about doing some winter sowing and you got some of these milk jugs, I find that these work the best for me. I have access to unlimited amounts from friends and family, so these are the ones I prefer to use. You'll see all sorts of other things that people use, baggies, maybe a tub like this, different things. You know, there's all sorts of plastic containers out there that you can convert into a winter sowing jug, as long as you make sure you've got lots of holes on the bottom so that there's good drainage. Create that hinge so that you can open these up to fill them with dirt, seal them up to create that mini greenhouse. And then in the spring, when you're starting to get good germination, you need to harden them off before transplanting. You can open these up and, you know, close them on the cold nights, kind of thing. So basically you're creating a little mini greenhouse with a hinged lid that you can open and close. Always take the caps off. You want that precipitation, the snow, the rain, to be able to get into your jugs to keep them moist and ready for germination. So if you don't have the room to start seedlings indoors, you don't want to invest in grow lights and shelving and have to worry about babying and watering and fertilizing, then you can turn your yard into your grow room. So like I said, I'm starting off with perennials because I want them to get out there and get frozen, go through that stratification process. So this is a great time. As you can see, these cats really like the soil. It's another reason I don't want a whole bunch of things growing out here this spring. I'm not sure how I'm going to protect them from these cats that live out here in my garage. So anyways, perennials, that is where we're going to focus on today. And if you are looking to get a bunch of perennials going for your outdoor garden, then this is an awesome way to do it over starting indoors because they get that natural stratification process. Delphiniums, lupins, coneflowers, sedum. I got some sage here that I'm going to try. This is something that has worked really well for me, is herbs. I've had good success with them, and I plan to get, you know, a lot more of them going later in March. It's like basil and dill, something like a small container like this. I only need 1 or 2 dill plants. I don't need a bunch. You know, you can use a pop bottle to get 2 or 3 plants going in quite easily. I am also testing out the snug method. And again, thanks to Frankie Lou, who I'm going to say she invented this. I'm not sure, but she is showing us on her videos how to create a seedling snail like this. You've seen me do those indoors. Create one of these for your container that goes outside. And this really helps with the transplanting stage because a lot of times taking these out of the jugs, transplanting them into the ground, gets a little bit tricky to get them out. They get really, you know, there's a lot of roots in there. The roots all get kind of intertwined with each other. So using that seedling snail method inside your winter sowing jug helps alleviate that. It keeps all the roots separated. When you are ready to plant out, you can just pop the snail out, unravel it, and take all your seedlings out and transplant them into your garden. So this is my first time trying a snug. I'm excited to use it for different things like maybe some lettuces. I've seen people do carrots in this method, beets, different things that you might normally direct sow. This is a good way to get them going, get a good root established, and be able to kind of transplant them without too much root disturbance. So other than changing the timing on when I am setting up my winter sowing jugs this year and putting them outside, everything else remains the same. As far as the soil, I like to use a good quality potting soil. Don't use seed starting mix. Don't bring in soil from outside or anything that may, you know, get too compacted. You want it to be loose soil, but you need it to have that nutrition in there because the seedlings are going to be in there all the way up till they are being transplanted into the garden. And you want to also make sure the soil is nice and moist. That way it kind of freezes with that moisture in it. And when it starts to thaw, your seeds aren't going to be in a dry environment. So you kind of want to mimic what the ground would be like for these seeds when springtime comes. So I'm going to start with some lupins here. These are a perennial that I hope to get going in my garden. They're fairly large seeds here, so it's pretty easy to plant them. I do recommend a little bit of overseeding just to help, maybe increases that chance of fertilization. And you can simply just spread them on the soil surface here. Try to spread them out as good as you can. I'm probably going to put about 20 or so into this pot here. Not really keeping track, but so once you got those seeds in place, just put another light layer of your potting soil on top. And then I just give it another good topping of water here just to kind of water those in really well. So I like to put a label on the inside as well as on the outside once I've sealed it up. One other thing that I did change too is the kind of tape that I use. Duct tape has always been the thing that they tell you to tape your jug shut with. But I find in the spring, when you're trying to remove that duct tape and get it off your jugs, especially these milk jugs, it gets quite gooey and sticky and it's really hard to take it off. And tuck tape works really good. So I'm going to switch to tuck tape now from now on. Usually get 2 nice long strips pre-cut here. So once we get these all set up, I will take you outside to show you where you want to place these. Something I do, if you feel like you're going to be getting some warm weather in the next, week, which we can for sure get here in March, I keep these kind of in a shaded area out of the wind, protected from, not being blown around for the next month or so. And then I will relocate it and put it in a sunny location, probably by the end of March. That way it can start going through that germination process. The soil will start to warm up. We'll have those longer days of sunlight, and the germination should start taking off mid-April to end of April. So there you have it. One batch of perennials is all planted up, and I'm ready to do a bunch more. Round of winter sowing jugs are all set up here, and I will take you outside now and show you where I'm going to set them up. Okay, so I have my jugs out here in the garden. I've kind of just tucked them away around these tubs here just so that they are safe from the wind and they'll stay well insulated and frozen. We are in for some warm weather this weekend where it's going to get above melting temperatures during the day. So I want these to stay frozen for, at least a few more weeks up until the end of March. So I don't worry about them getting, any sunlight or heat right now, because these are the perennials, the cold hardy plants that I want to stay frozen for at least a few more weeks. So if you are in a cold growing zone like me and thinking about doing winter sowing or haven't started yet, if you got your perennials out there, great. If you're thinking about wanting to do that, early March is a great time to do this. I'll be doing more winter sowing up until the end of March, maybe even early April. So keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out those free downloads in the description box below and check out our gardening community, Gardeners Growing Together. Thanks for watching.